everybody. It is Mr. Miserable back at it once again. Today I'm on the sunshine, taking a little break, but we'll be back together soon, shortly. So what's going on this day in the world? It is Tuesday, and I guess I'll just kind of what I was talking about. I think the last video I posted, I kind of talked about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I guess it is what it is. They made the selections they made, and I just have to live with it. Um, to just call it the Music Hall of Fame now, though, because I feel like there are a lot of rock bands that should be in there that they don't put in. Um, I'm, I don't understand why Korn isn't in there yet. Iron Maiden isn't in there, which I definitely don't understand why Iron Maiden isn't in there yet. But I did feel like R&B and Rakim should have been there because they put a Tribe Called Question before R&B and Rakim. All right, but it is what it is. Rakim was very gracious about, they had commented on it when they found out they didn't get in, and they like, we'll be in soon, and they will be in soon. So, um, that just leave that way it is. But I kind of harken back to the last one I did, just because I had mentioned about like the fans of certain sports and stuff like that. Because I think I had called out Boston, I called Boston racism, which is why I never root for the Boston Celtics. It's always back and forth when it comes to that, because I never forget when Gilbert one time and he was like, "Oh well, this is because you hear about how they cheer for the basketball team and all that type of stuff. Jason Tatum is a great player. Jalen Brown made me think of uh, one of the things I remember growing up with the most watching gangster movies with my father, and Joe Pesci is one of the most underrated actors of all time. Like I almost wish Robert De Niro would have discovered him earlier, so we could have seen like a lot more body of work from him. But Joe Pesci was always the guy in some movies that you love to hate, because you just always knew he was on the rowdy dude and all that type stuff. But I think it was Goodfellas when the young lady that was talking, and I think they went to see like Sammy Davis Jr. or somebody, and the young like white lady was like, she was like, "You could really go for a guy like him," and then Joe Pesci goes into like one of his epic monologues and stuff like that, and it's just one of the things that like made Joe Pesci what Joe Pesci was for those mobster movies, because you can always remember a Joe Pesci line if you seen like a mobster movie that Joe Pesci was in. Like you'll remember a Joe Pesci line before you'll remember anybody else line from a mobster movie. Like I think that's how I kind of feel about Boston fans, or like certain fans like Wisconsin. Like when you hear players who play for Milwaukee, like, well, a lot of times their families automatically assume that their family, not public people, just automatically assume they play for the basketball team because they're black basketball players, because they're very entertaining for us, but we're not really embracing black problems or black culture and things of that nature. And that's why I'm not a Boston fan, and I'll never root for Boston. That being said, I bring that up just because I saw a list of like fan bases, and people always talk about some of the most hate. The got me thinking, because I think I made a comment the other day, and I may have forgot. I don't know, but whatever. About, and I'm not even say calling out because I'm a small fry. Football season. Steve Cowboys has won the championship in 30 years. How a lot of teams played for the Dallas Cowboys weren't born the last time the Dallas Cowboys the championship, and all that's true. And every year, because the Cowboys are kind of like they're above mediocre, but they just never fulfill their whole talent. So every year, the last 5 years, they always make the playoffs, but they just seem to never do nothing past really make the playoff when they pass the first round. We get all that. We understand all that, you know. And Stephen A. Smith will always get on first take to make fun of the Dallas Cowboy fans. But New reality, the most obnoxious fan base of any of the sport, of the music genres than anybody in other state or city or whatever you want to say in the championship. Y'all in the first round. And y'all want to make fun of and Stephen A. Smith want to make fun of the Dallas Cowboys. Excuse me, I'm seen the New York Knicks win the championship in my lifetime. So for him to call out the Dallas Cowboys when the New York Knicks ain't done nothing is literally the death. You see him on first take, or you'll see him on like um, setup show before they start, raving about how great the Knicks are doing. But then they got to get another piece. Exactly what's going to happen this year. And let's be honest, if Embiid was fully healthy, if and I can't blame because what I'm about to say is really what like talking about sports sometimes. People are like, oh well, such and such was healthy, and so I'm not going to really take that. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like Philadelphia is a better squad. Like, I feel like if Embiid was healthy, fully healthy, I really feel like the Knicks would really have trouble. But can't see it woulda, coulda, shoulda. The like Knicks is going to advance by the first round. But don't nobody see Knicks going to the championship. So when you got what's that guy? I say he's never funny. The white guy, Ben Stiller. You got Ben Stiller sitting around pointing fingers at players. You got the New York Knicks fans making all this noise. Keep that same energy when y'all get put out the playoffs. Keep that same energy if y'all run into. Because who would y'all meet in the second round? Y'all would meet. Actually, no, you know what? Because the way things are going, probably be playing the Pacers in the next round. You know what? I have the Pacers giving the Knicks problems in the next round. The Pacers don't have no problem running up and down that court. Like they're not gonna slow the game down. They're gonna be running up and down the court. They're gonna give New York some problems. So let's keep that same energy. And don't nobody have them beating Boston even if they get past the Pacers. So yeah, let's keep that same energy when y'all get sent home. Because y'all gonna be doing exactly what the Dallas Cowboys gonna do. Oh, wait till next year. Wait till we get this so and so in free agency. That's exactly what New York Knicks fans is going to do. And New York do that with everything. Like how that's why I wanted to bring up the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Because you know what? I was just thinking about something the other day. Who crowned Jay Z the GOAT? Like, and don't get me wrong, Jay Z is a great lyricist. When was Jay Z ever the most dominant hip hop artist out there? A year or name me an era when Jay Z was the GOAT. Because let's be honest, Jay Z would have been probably older than Biggie and Tupac if Biggie and Tupac was still around. But Tupac was out, nobody was talking about Jay Z. Nas dropped Illmatic, nobody was talking about Jay Z. When 50 Cent was dominant, nobody was talking about Jay Z. When shit, nobody was talking about Jay Z. So how is Jay Z the GOAT? Other than the fact that once again he's from New York and playing him after Biggie and Pop died. And if you TV is really because MTV loves playing Jay Z after Biggie and Pop died. And I'm just being realistic about it. Like that's it. Other than that, he really doesn't have a real claim to fame to being the GOAT. And don't get me wrong, Jay Z would probably murder most of these rappers if it came down to like dropping lyrics. But I'm just saying, like, heck, I hang around a lot of young people because, like I said, I'm a manager, one of my jobs in my daytime profession. So I hang around a lot of young kids. A lot of them who listen to hip hop. A lot of them who come out their mouth and say they don't fuck with Jay Z. So how is Jay Z to go? I'm just being honest. Other than the fact that he got that, he got that the New York setting behind him. Like other than that, how is he really to go? And it's just crazy, like, but that's that New York love, New York, all shit. And the reality of the fact is, y'all probably are the most overhyped fan base, and I think y'all are very, really overrated when it comes to some of the shit y'all talk about. That being said, if if I wanted to learn how to be a businessman, and Jay Z used that as a quote in one of his songs, he's like, "I'm a businessman." Then yes, Jay Z is somebody I would go to in terms of how to develop a career. But I'm just saying, it literally is like just saying. I'm just saying, it's just been years when everybody, and I got that definitely he's had in it. And like I look at it as inspiration is how he's been able to transition into other ventures. In terms of that, then maybe I would call him the GOAT. But just saying the GOAT of hip hop, but maybe GOAT as business mogul, yeah. I would look at Jay Z in terms of that because he's ventured into like um, computer commercials, like just being all over the place in terms of like business ventures. Like, yeah, so maybe I would look at him as a GOAT in terms of that, but not as a GOAT, not as a hip hop. I'm just saying, like, eh. I mean, don't get me wrong, so I'm not going all over the place, but Lakers got put out yesterday. My dislike for Boston is like for the Lakers is another. And I say that just from the standpoint I tend to gravitate towards the teams everybody loves. Like I'm that type of person. I guess you can call me a contrarian. It's like if everybody gotta go to the right, I gotta go to the left. I'm not a Lakers fan either. Um, it's weird though, because this will be one of the first years that none of the if you really think about it. I guess it's like a passing over to the new guard or Anthony Edwards, the new MJ. LeBron got put out last night, and see this cemented. Like whether you want to call him the GOAT or whatever, like I try not to come up with names like GOAT. Greatest of his era, yes, he is the greatest of his era. But I can't be like, oh, he's the greatest of all time. And I just say that from the standpoint. And MJ said it best. And this is an old interview to like right around the time he retired. And the guy, Michael Jordan even said it out his mouth. He was like, I'm just from the standpoint, I haven't played the greats. And it's scientists have said this. Scientists is like if you take somebody nowadays with IQ of 200, send him back 60 million years ago before fire was existing. Somebody said, they be like, well, what you mean? Like he got a 200 IQ. But scientists are looking at it as we pass knowledge down from generation to generation. So that man that had that IQ of 200 now, knowledge has been passed down from from generation to generation to generation to generation to generation to generation. Send this man back 65 million years ago. Now you're stripping away all the technology that's been passed down generations. So you're literally putting him, let's say we're throwing him back 65 million years ago. We're basically taking that 200 IQ because now you just have the same mentality of anybody that's living 65 million years ago. So it's unfair, and this is what kind of irritated me when JJ Redick made the comment disrespecting the older players. Disrespectful it is to tell somebody who played in the era, and if your era was trash, because you just played with plumbers and those plumbers and those whatever and whatever. In the game advances that we have now. Took those old guys to do what they was doing back then for the game to evolve to what it is now. So that's so disrespectful when JJ Redick comes out and says the things that he said. And I think that's why a lot of times you get the older players with the cheer on this younger generation. Because this younger generation, they getting paid, they going out, they doing what they love. You know, they don't have to take second jobs and be plumbers and be mechanics. They can just focus on what they love and get paid constantly doing it. The older generations couldn't say they did that because there was no money in it. So when these young cats, when these JJ Reddicks and these guys, they disrespect the older generations like that, when they disrespect the older guys, you know, when they disrespect the Jerry Wests, when they disrespect the Murrays, when they disrespect all these older guys, it's like it's really a slap in the face for these guys who had to go through and said it best. It wasn't was it Brent Berry? No, I'm sorry, it was Brent Berry's father who said it best. When he was like he would have gotten to play in today's era with all the studies on athletics and ways to enhance your body and improve your body and to keep yourself in shape. Like I said, it took these guys playing back then for them to come with these the science in sports to be better. Remember, Gatorade literally didn't get invented to what 76. So now we have ways for athletes to recover their bodies a lot quicker, a lot healthier, for them to put on muscle mass and stay on muscle mass a lot better. The science wasn't out 50 and 60 years ago. So for a lot of these guys to be getting on the older generation like that, and I'm not saying you're supposed to be bowing down and kissing at their feet and stuff like that, but just give acknowledgement to the fact that if these guys didn't do what they was doing back in the day, some wouldn't have been able to shift to where it is now. It took these guys doing what they was doing. That's where the disconnect is at, and that's why when JJ Redick kind of said what he said, I think he said it last year, and maybe after he got some of the backlash from what he was saying, I think maybe he thought about it. But and I hope he did, just because it's like, and I'm not saying respect your elders, like trying to be like the old man in the room, but I'm just saying just be cognizant of the fact that it takes people to come before you what you're doing now. Actually, somebody 5 years from now, or it's not shameful to give acknowledgement, not weak to give acknowledgement of the they didn't do what they was doing. I somebody 10 years from now. How Anthony Alfred said it the other day. He was like, I grew up being a Durant fan. You know, like he would like the game when he was calling Kawhi and them old. Like he was like, I grew up watching these guys. You know, and it's like it's not. I didn't say that. He's just acknowledging like y'all guys was an inspiration. carry it on and do it my way. That's what you get. You get, but you get some guys who don't know how to acknowledge the greatness that came before them, and it kind of sometimes look at the slap in the face. But other than that, so we're gonna get it's gonna be a good one. Denver, Minnesota in the next round. People better stop sleeping on Jamal Murray, and I think everybody want to talk about Jokic or Jokic. I'm trying to think if I'm pronouncing it right. But everybody trying to sleep on Jamal Murray. Yeah, y'all, they need to stop doing that. I think one of the reasons they kind of do is just because he had an injury bug those last couple of years, and I think sometimes they tend to forget about him because sometimes he is a little injury prone. But yeah, Murray and Jokic is the engine that drive Denver. It's not just Jokic. It's not just Jokic. They have a great team dynamic all of. I think that's why they're going to be a threat for years to come. Um, Minnesota is very looking real good. See, they gonna have a rest for a while. I feel like the that seven series just because I'm a big Kawhi Leonard fan. He signed that $152 million extension in the off season. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'm still a big Kawhi Leonard fan, but what they always say, the best ability is availability. Right now, I feel like in Kawhi Leonard's career, come back if he season, I feel like he should have Paul George and Harden in the and then have Westbrook and Kawhi coming off the bench. I think 65 games is best. Maybe you have him coming off the bench, giving you maybe 12, 20 minutes a game. Maybe you can get 70 games out of him if he can stay healthy. If they don't want to play Paul George, I feel like Paul George is more. Like I said, don't get me wrong, I'm a big Kawhi fan, but Paul George is more worthy of the contract extension than Kawhi is. A lot of the fallout with the Clippers has been Kawhi, and I hate to say it because, like I said, I'm a Kawhi fan. I just seemed like he was about basketball. It was like I never heard him really say stuff outside of the game, like neither positive nor negative. He just seemed like he was just about basketball, and that's what I always liked about Kawhi. The plus, you throw in the fact that he's a great player just as well, but with his injuries, kind of like I really see him being like been around for a lot longer. And George, I honestly feel like imagine getting rid of Tobias Harris off of Philly, Embiid, Maxi, and that, like I said, it's just crazy in sports right now. And I think that's what I'm focused on right now, just because, especially with I just do a segment about sports today, which is basically what I did anyway. Um, and sports was what's up. Baseball season just started. So I'm an Orioles fan. We beat the Yankees 2-0 last night. I hope they don't Machado. And what I say that is the years we had Manny Machado's, actually the Orioles had like young studs because they went the Houston Texans route and decided when you have the number one farm system, you either got to start trading pieces off, or you got to stop paying, or you got to start paying people. And they didn't want to pay Manny Machado and Jonathan School. So, yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they do now, right? Because it look like we're in the win now mode. So, are you gonna pay Gundy freshman when it's time to pay him? When Jackson Holiday comes back from the Triple A's, are you gonna finally pay him in like 5 years when it's time to pay him? You know, it's like that's one of the problems the Orioles had just 10 years ago, and I hope they don't repeat the same mistake they made. Like at least try to go for the World Series this time. Like apart, and then be like, oh, we just gonna rebuild. We can't afford it. We don't want to pay nobody. Y'all have the whole massing license. Like, can't nobody else watch y'all unless they got massing. You know, so just do the right thing and take care of that. And I'm gonna just finish on this. So Danton, almost called it. So sorry. Daniel Taurasi kind of got some saying what she said, and what she said was true. You know, like she said, you know, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, they have to prove themselves. You know, it's they're just like how you step up, you have to prove yourself every time you step up. They're going from college to the WNBA. They have. She got some backlash for saying it, and I got the backlash because she's a female, and I just say that from the standpoint, it's like don't be hypocrites. So these female players out here that's playing these sports, I think maybe shouldn't say certain things. Like they are competitive. Like have y'all watched these games? Like these women are just as competitive as the guys are. Maybe the physicality isn't there. Like you're not gonna see them dunking on people, but say these women don't have attitudes and don't want to win. Like they play these games just like. In fact, I might say this: they may have more love for the sports than their male counterparts because they ain't getting paid the money their male counterparts get. So you know they want to win. You know they want the best. They want to be the best of what they do. So the fact that for making a legitimate comment was like asinine to me. Like she even said it like the new WNBA fan Caitlin Clark fans. And I think they're just extra sensitive and they feel like people are going to attack her. But I don't feel like Tarali was really attacking her. I think Tarali feels is like, yes, you have to prove yourself. You're on a whole new level now. And this NFL draft just happened last week. Like, you know, a lot of these young men, there's going to be some skepticism with some of these picks that will have to prove themselves. Nobody is guaranteed anything in sports. You know, and that college does not mean you're going to be great in the WNBA. And for fans to take offense to that just shows the sensitivity of those fans. They want to support her. If you want to really support Miss Clark and Miss Reese, then go watch the game. Like I said, give these young ladies a reason to go to the WNBA officials when the new collective involves young ladies more money. Like I said, I watch all sports except for soccer and golf. I can't stand those two sports. They're too boring. But I watch WNBA. I watch lacrosse. I watch hockey. I watch football. I watch baseball. I watch softball. I watch tennis. I watch UFC. If it's on, I will watch it because I'm just a seasonal person. Like I can't sit back and be like, oh well, they're talking about football now. But I'm like, if football's not playing now, I don't care until football season starts. So that means right now I'm watching NBA and baseball and hockey. Just saying like instead of people sitting back, well they need to pay these young ladies to the games, watching the games, getting the sponsorship up so they can start demanding more money. That's the only way they're going to look at it and give these young ladies more money in their contracts. Because people can talk about, oh, well, they should be making as much as so and so. feels the NBA be signing. That's why the WNBA is really arguing right now. So why they don't have to play these young people or the viewership or the contracts. Once the contracts go up, they will get bigger contracts. But more people have to be tuning in instead of giving lip service about how they should be making as much. So, well, then start watching the games to help support these young ladies. Point blank and simple. And stop coming after all these other people for telling the truth that yes, Miss Clark and Miss Reese does have to prove something now. Because right now, it's starting all over again. They're not on the level of the Tarazis and the Brittany Grinders right now. Because you know what? They have to prove themselves all over again. Leave it out on that note. Sorry for the rant. Once again, be kind. There's a lot going on. Sometimes it's just hard. The base was under attack. History Sons, I forgot what state it was. There's a lot going on in the world right now. Really, all I can say is just watch out for your loved ones. Try to be a better person for yourself, for your community, for your family. And as always, be nice and be kind. And until I hit y'all up again, everybody stay safe.